So this question here is asking the area of trapezium given by A equals A plus B over 2 multiplied by height. So the first part what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to write out this formula. Okay, so we're going to get A equals A plus B divided by 2 multiplied by H. Now the first step is to get rid of the A, okay? So the first step is to, what we can do is we can get A over 1, and we can multiply out the top bracket if we want, but we don't really have to, okay? So we can say that it's divided by 2, and then it's A plus B, small a plus b multiplied by h. Now we could multiply this out, but we do need h on its own, so there's no point multiplying it in, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to bring 2 up here, and we're going to get as 2a equals a plus b over h. Now this multiplication of a plus b is stopping it being on its own, so we bring down the a plus b, so we get 2a over a plus b, and that ends up to be equal to h. Okay? That's the answer to the first part there. Now the second part, few transparent backgrounds. Now what we know about the second part is that A equals capital A equals 150, small a equals 10, and small b equals 15. So what we can do next is we just put these values into the formula here, okay, to find out what h is. So therefore h is going to be 2 times 150 divided by 10 plus 15, which is 300 divided by 25, which results in an answer of 12. Okay. Next part here. The next part here is question 33. And for question 33, we need to get the perimeter in terms of L and W. Now, perimeter means you're running a lap of the field. So basically, you go L, W, L, W. You're running a lap, okay? So therefore, the perimeter must be equal to L plus W plus L plus W. And therefore, perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. Now, the next part of this question is we want to get W on its own, okay? So this is the formula, and we want to get W on its own. So to get W on its own, we first need to get rid of the addition, okay? So remember your first BOMDA, so it's going to be P minus 2L equals 2W, okay? Now the 2 multiplied by W stopped it from being on its own, so it's going to be P minus 2L over 2, and that is going to equal W, okay? So that's the solution to that question there. Okay, so now we've done part 1 and part 2. So next we're going to do part 3. Now A in terms of L. So the A, capital A, is the area. And area is equal to, area of a rectangle is equal to length multiplied by width. Okay, so that is part 3 done. Now for part 4, it wants us to get W on its own for this formula. So basically, W is being multiplied by L, so to get rid of the L, we just need to bring it over the other side and divide it. So the width is equal to area divided by length. And that's the answer for part 4. Now, for part 5, what we got to do is we got to get area in terms of perimeter and length. This means we're going to have to get rid of W, okay? So we know that W equals P minus 2L over 2. And we also know that W equals A over L. So with this in mind, what we can do is we can use these two formulas against each other, okay? And we can figure out what A is in terms of P and L. So remember, we want capital A on its own, okay? So what we're going to get here is, you just can put W equals W, so width should equal width, which means A over L equals P minus 2L over 2. And what we just want is we want A on its own. The only thing stopping A being on its own is the division by L. And this means if we want to get rid of the L, it must be multiply on the other side. So it's going to be L into P minus 2L divided by 2. Therefore, A is going to be equal to LP minus 2L squared over 2. Both these answers are acceptable, okay? So next question we'll be on now in a second. Okay, so temperatures can be measured in degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, or degrees Kelvin. The relationship between the scales of the temperature is given by the following: C equals F multiplied by 5 multiplied by F minus 32 over 9. So with this in mind, what we're going to do with the Celsius is we're just going to bring it down here. We have lots of workspace below, and we'll do it now, okay? So what we're going to get is, the first thing we need to do is remember that it's C over 1. So we want to get F on its own. So the first thing we can do is we can multiply out if we have to. And so we're going to get C over 1 equals 5F. 5 multiplied by that is going to be minus 160 divided by 9. Okay? And we're at the stage where we can cross multiply, so we're going to bring the 9 up here beside the C and the 1 up beside the F. Okay? So what we're going to get now is 9C equals 5F minus 160. Now remember, your whole goal of this equation, or this thing, is to get F on its own. So we just target F as the target here. Okay, so we want to get F on its own. So to get F on its own, if we look at the bomb dash situation, what's happening is it's first going to be multiplied by 5, and then minus 160 is going to be subtracted from it. So what we can do is get rid of the subtraction first. So 9C plus 160 equals 5F. Okay. Next we need to get rid of the multiplication. To get rid of the multiplication, you take the 5 and you divide it on the other side. So it's 5 right up the equal sign, which makes it divide by 5 on the left side. So that is our Fahrenheit question done. Okay. For the next part of the question, what we're going to be doing is we're going to find what's Kelvin in terms of Fahrenheit. Okay, so Fahrenheit in terms of Kelvin. And what we know about Kelvin is C plus 273. So what Kelvin can be written down as this. It can be written down as 5 divided by F minus 32 divided by 9 plus 273. Okay, so plus 273. So what's going to happen next is we're going to multiply out the 5 like we did last time, because we don't want any mix-ups here. So 5 like we did last time. So what we're going to get is this is going to be K over 1, because Kelvin's divided by 1, equals 5F minus 160 divided by 9 plus 273. Now what we need to do with the right hand side is we need to have a lowest common denominator. Okay, so to have a lowest common denominator, what we need to do is we need to sort out the right hand side first. Okay, so you imagine this red box here. This is the question we're going to deal with now. Okay, and what we got to do is the tail of 3 arrows. Let's get the lowest common denominator. So let's put 5F minus 160 in brackets. So it's going to be 9 multiplied by 1, 9 multiplied by 273, and finally the purple arrow, which is going to be 1 multiplied by this. Okay, so remember the K over 1 is unaffected, and what's going to be left here is 1 multiplied by 5F is still 5F, 1 multiplied by 160 still 160, 9 times 1 on the bottom is 9, and now we're going to get plus 9 multiplied by 273. So 9 multiplied by 273 is 2,457. Okay, so what we're going to be left with next is we got to get Fahrenheit on its own. So Fahrenheit, the 5F, the F has to be on its own. Okay, so what we need to do here is, first of all, we're going to tidy the top part. So K over 1 equals 5F, 5 multiplied by Fahrenheit. So add those numbers together, the minus 160 and the 259, the 2,457, and you get plus 2,297, and you're going to divide all of that by 9. Now the next step is we can cross multiply. If we can cross multiply, do it. The 9 goes up here, the multiplying by 1 goes up there, but remember multiplying by 1 is the same thing. So we're going to get is 9 Kelvin equals 5 times Fahrenheit plus 2,297. Now, if we're to do our bomb dash out, okay, so just going to rub out this part here. If we were to take out our bomb dash here, what we could say about the F is the following is happening to the F, okay? So the F is being multiplied by 5 and then it's been added to. So we need to get rid of the addition first. So it's going to be 9 Kelvin minus 2297 equals 5F. Since we've got rid of the addition, now we need to get rid of the multiplication. So we're going to divide that by 5. 9K minus 2297 divided by 5 equals Fahrenheit. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're just going to highlight this this formula here. What I'm going to do is just going to copy that and paste it onto the next page here. And now what we're going to do is going to look at this formula and see how to do the next part, okay? So what we're looking at the next part is, it's asked us hence or otherwise calculate Fahrenheit when Celsius equals 10 and Kelvin equals 123, right? So the first one is Celsius equals 10, okay? So that is going to take us back to our answer for part A. And our answer for part A is going to be, just gotta look down for it. This is our answer for part A here, where Fahrenheit equals 9 multiplied by Celsius divided by 5, okay? So we're just going to highlight this part here. We're going to copy this, and then we're going to bring it over and paste it over here. So that's our two formulas, our answer for A and B, okay? So once we have the answer for A and B, we can go back down here now. Now, it wants us to calculate the value of F when C equals 10. So this is quite easy. So C is 10, so it's going to be 9 times 10 plus 160 divided by 5 equals Fahrenheit. And this is going to be 90 plus 160, which is 250 divided by 5 equals Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is going to be equal to 50. Okay, the next question is 123. It wants K to be 123. Okay, so it's going to be 9 times 123 minus 2297 equals F. And we got to divide all this by 5. So let's do this out. 9 multiplied by 123 is 1107. 1107 minus 2297 is going to give us minus 1190. We're going to divide this by 5, okay, to see what Fahrenheit is. Divide it by 5, and the answer for Fahrenheit is going to be minus 238 degrees Fahrenheit when Kelvin is equal to 123. Okay, and that's the end of that lesson. 13 minutes, not too bad.